right, good morning, everybody. Today is the third item on the list, which is related very, very closely to the first item on the list, which you remember was security, right? Security, the overriding thing here for all of these is trust, okay? Security is part of trust. You know, your competence is part of trust. Everything's all about trust. If you don't build trust, you don't get anywhere, okay? I think I covered that kind of early on. But today is related closely enough that you might confuse the two issues. Security today is honesty. Now, honesty is different than security. Security encompasses it, but only in the sense that it's under the umbrella of trust. Security includes things like, remember the lady that was concerned about her physical safety, having servicemen in the house, that sort of stuff. You know, and then the range went out to stealing knickknacks. Well, that has to do with being a crook. But what we're talking about here is really, are people going to get a fair deal? Now, people aren't necessarily looking for a good deal. Everybody likes a good deal, but I don't know if I ever got a good deal. I don't know if I was aware of it. But mostly you get a fair deal if you're lucky. You get what you pay for if you're lucky. That's my attitude towards it all. And I'm not looking for something for nothing. Mostly your customers aren't either, but they want what they're bargaining for. All right, so they have this question which they cannot ask you, but they want to know, am I going to get ripped off? And you can answer that question before you ever show up at the house. Either in your marketing materials where you address issues, or on the telephone, or both. If you take telephone appointments, there's a lot of advantage to that. Of course, I'm aware of the downside. You have to answer the phone and da-da-da. But if you're still answering the phone, you have a big opportunity there. So let's do it. Customer wants to know, are you a liar? Are you a crook? Or are they going to get a fair deal? And they can't ask you. So first off, I want to just talk about who you are. I mean, most people are characterized as inconsistent, consistent, or someplace in between. And most of us tend towards one thing or the other, but we all live somewhere out in the middle a little bit, right? I mean, if you're a little bit inconsistent, it's something you can work on. So I just want to tell you, to thine own self be true. You know, look at yourself and say, am I as consistent as I wish I were? Am I as consistent as my customers wish I were? You know, just be, ever how consistent you are, be more consistent, all right? Just up your game. That's all about winning, you know. At the end of the story, it's about upping your game, right? So start weeding out your inconsistencies. Now, things that talk about your honesty, whether they believe what comes out of your mouth, whether they believe that your price is the right price, is buried in stuff that's not related as well. Do you keep small promises? And I'm telling you, punctuality, which is on the list, and we're going to get to it, but I have brought it up even before we started this. Punctuality, you get judged real early on by your punctuality. If you're not getting where you say you're going on the time you say you're getting there, you know, I want to encourage you to do that. It's very leveraged, your punctuality. And it tells whether they can trust you, all right? So another thing is, it's about money. Now, people do buy value at the end of the story, but they make decisions on emotion. You know, you have to help them get over the emotion of price, and you have to answer the question, or you don't have to, but if you don't, you're just like everybody else that's not answering it. They want to know about price, and are they concerned about price? So, you know, they're going to ask you about money, and, you know, it's a fool's bet to answer the question right over the telephone about the money, you know, but you can't duck the question either. But I wrote a real good little script which you can modify for yourself. I'm going to read it to you. But here's a way to deal with price both in voice and just right in your marketing, right on the front of your webpage. If you are a person that charges more than average, and the way to success in business is not to be in the lower half, okay? Be charging at least in the middle, if not more than average, okay? And that has lots and lots and lots of payoffs, right? And one of them is they perceive you as having more value, trust you more, if your prices are actually a little more than average. Yeah, have you ever thought about that? But let me read this to you about price. If you're generally higher priced than other people, you can say so. Say something like, I have competitors who charge less for similar work. Similar, not same, please. For similar work, though I don't know why or what corners they might be cutting, but I do know what we do, and I know you'll get your full money's worth from me. And modify that to your own voice, but that's the message. People need to hear that. They need to know that, okay, this guy costs a little more than the other guy. He's not afraid to talk about it. They can read all kinds of great stuff into that. So go ahead and address price. It helps them. Okay, don't rush. Mentioned that before. It's part of building trust. Just don't rush. I gave myself a good note on that to take all the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you have a schedule to keep, that's the point I wanted to make. If you have a schedule to keep and you don't really have time to answer all those questions, that's not an excuse for not spending a bunch of time answering those questions. You have your needs. The customer has his. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you, if you rush, you're not meeting the customer's need. Figure it out. Okay? Don't rush. And one more thing I want to tell you that'll boost the customer's confidence in your honesty is when you give them options. And if they get an option that doesn't include paying you, that's good. I mean, they say, well, that fella is giving me these options. He has these two things that he does, and one costs more than the other. He presented that first, didn't he? And then he also told me about, and you can also do, this, which, it's a stopgap measure perhaps, but, and I don't do that, but I'm sure that you can find someone who will. I know a real competent fella who provides that service. You could say that kind of thing. Offering a customer the option to go to a competitor is a powerful trust-building item, and they will perceive you as honest. You will answer that question for them, and that can be done before you ever get to the house. Alrighty, there we go, and we'll be back with number 4 next. All right, talk to you then. Hey friends, I hope this was useful to you. Would you do something for me? Would you please share this with anybody you know that ought to hear it too? And then would you please give me the thumbs up and subscribe, right? That's kind of important on these things. Feel free to leave comments. All right, thanks a lot. And now get out there and do some winning.